In this video, we're going to take a look at some best practices for designing your courseware based on your audience's viewing preferences. Right now, we're in the Start a New Project dialog, and we've given our project a title and a description. So let's move on. We're going to use Styled Project for this particular example. So let's click Next. Then we come to a screen where it allows us to choose our primary target device. Now in this screen, you have the ability to start with a project based upon desktop viewing preferences, tablet viewing preferences, or smartphone viewing preferences. Now what you have to keep in mind is this. Is your audience going to go ahead and, like in Composica 6, now that it leverages HTML5 technologies whenever possible and is supported on mobile devices, will your audience be mainly viewing from desktop and maybe switching over to smartphone, or will they perhaps be using strictly tablets to view your courseware, or maybe they're going to go from tablets to smartphone, or perhaps they're just going to view it on smartphones? You know, that's going to have to depend upon how well you know your audience. Now, if you decide to go ahead and design for desktop, your document page may be 800 by 600, so your audience may start viewing it on a desktop, but while they're traveling, they may switch to viewing the same courseware originally created and designed for the desktop on their smartphone. Now, the problem with this is even though it will scale down if you opt to do that for your runtime properties to a smaller size when viewed on a smartphone, some of the parts of your courseware may not be as sharp or may not be able to be viewed on a smartphone as clearly as if you originally designed the same content on a smartphone as well. So these are things to keep in mind when you're creating your content in Composica. So for this example, we're actually going to go ahead and design courseware for the smartphone layout to show you how this might look. So we're going to choose smartphone for our primary target device. Then we'll click Next, and again, we're creating a styled project, so we'll go ahead and choose one of the setups. Now you notice in the preview that the design layout is a bit different than perhaps you might have seen if you've used Composica in previous versions. That's because we're designing now for a smartphone, so it's going to give us a template, a styled project template based upon smartphone dimensions. And again, the elements on this are going to be customizable. This is just a starting point for us. And then we'll click Next. And again, we have our runtime properties. One thing to point out here is the document size, again, is suitable for smartphones, and it's setting it to 480 by 670. And I want to keep that because, again, this example is designing courseware for a smartphone. So let's just go ahead and generate the project shell. And we'll go ahead and we'll create just one page just to see what this looks like in design view. So we're in the project manager, and if we go to the new page, you're going to notice that the content here is based upon the smartphone settings. So let's move this up a little bit, and let's hide this ribbon so we can get a better view here. And you'll notice that the document page is laid out, so when this is played back on a smartphone, the dimensions will make your courseware a lot sharper, and your audience will be able to view everything on it better than if it were scaled down, say from an 800 by 600 desktop page layout to be viewed on a smartphone. This is strictly a smartphone layout. So if you create content, you might want to repeat the content in two different layout preferences based upon your audience's needs. That's it for this particular video. If you have any questions on this topic or any others while working in Carbon's products and services, please visit us online at www.carbon.com. And thanks for stopping by.